That's all right. We got all the platforms piling in there. Oh, I forgot one thing for my setup. I forgot hand towels. I always have to have a hand towel because I have my hand towels in place and wipe my messes up as I go. I'm not the messiest pancake artist, but it's still nice to have them. So, cool. Looks like we got a couple people tuning in. Hello, welcome to our 3 times a week Joy of Pancakes pancake art live stream. My name is Dan. Daniel James Drake is my full name. I am the Dan of Dancakes. And let me see here. Silly Things of Life on YouTube. Oh, whoop, that made noise. Silly Things of Life on YouTube says hello. It's good to see you. Mitzi, I believe is Maya Malika says not on YouTube yet. It says over here that I'm on YouTube. We got 5 people watching from YouTube. Becca Roberts, hi Dan, how are you doing today? Hey Becca, good to see you. Thanks for dropping into the stream. Trying to check this out, see if it's doing what I want it to do. There we go. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started here. You might have noticed that I'm changing the title format a little bit, so I don't have a prompt in the title this time. I figured, you know what the heck. Let's start this episode with a couple suggestions from the chat of what you'd like to see me make, what kind of vibe you want to see me try and capture. I really like abstract requests, but you know, we're here to have fun. So, Tyler Vogelsang, hi Dancakes, big fan. Hey, thanks for dropping in the chat there, Tyler. Maya's the biggest fan. He says, okay. Thanks for dropping in the chat, everybody. That's all right. We're all a bit of a non-hierarchical thinker, so. But yeah, I've got a couple things I could get started on here while we get the stream warmed up. Johnny Bravo, that's a good, interesting suggestion. Johnny Bravo, Geode from Becca Roberts. I like that. All the cameras seem to be working. The audio seems to be working. Y'all seem to be able to hear me okay. So, let's see. I like that. Geode. I feel like I've done a geode thing kind of recently. Y'all might notice when it gets to the wide shot that I've got a bunch of pancakes behind me on the wall. So a lot of these are actually from previous episodes of The Joy of Pancakes. These 8 down here are actually from previous episodes. So you might have watched those get filmed. Those are now actually on the Dancakes.com website for sale. So if you're interested in purchasing a piece of pancake art from the stream, we are now doing that. And we make them all here. We got a workshop right on the other side of the wall over there. And let's see. Fraser Bonson, I'm a new subscriber, just to let you know. Dr. Dancake on Twitch says, look at all those beautiful pancakes. Who is that? Is that Dana in the other room? Or maybe it's Hank on his phone, I suppose. Let's see. Yeah, welcome, Fraser. SationCon. Celia Phantom Hive on YouTube says, I still remember meeting you at ShinshinCon. It's still the happiest day of my life. Thank you. Well, I'm flattered you think so. That's awesome. Oh, it's Ben. It's Ben at home on the website from the Dr. Dancake Twitch account. Good to see you, Ben. Thanks for dropping in. I love you, man. Yeah, Hank went and adjusted the wall, so we've got a whole bunch of hangers behind me now. Let me see. Abstract Expressionism. That was actually a really good one. I like that from Becca. I'll try something with that. Abstract Expressionism. There's a lot of vibes in the air right now, yeah? A lot of things going on in the world, and it would be interesting to see if I could tap into my third eye a little bit and do some abstract expressionism. So I'm going to start this one a little bit different than I normally do. Usually I'll start a design and then I will set down like a border. But for this, I think I'm going to start with the border. I'm going to start with a big circular outline so that I don't make this pancake too large. So I have a nice, I tend to call it a canvas. but that way I have a limiter so I don't make the design too big. I'm using my black batter here, and yeah, here I go, Stephanie. I'm starting up. And I'm going to get started. Abstract Expressionism. Well, this feels right. Don't know why, but that's Abstract Expressionism for you, right? We'll see what happens here. I think a lot about Pierre Mondrian, who's a somewhat famous painter. His paintings, I think, are more famous than his name is. But Mondrian is the guy who did the famous paintings of lots of black straight lines, right angles, and he would always fill different size squares with yellow, red, or blue. And I used to think that Mondrian's, I mean, before I paid any attention to art, you know, before I was probably 21 or 22 before I actually went to a museum, maybe older than that, before I went to a museum and actually read the placards and, like, cared about the story behind the painting and the story behind the artists and what they were trying to say and why they were trying to say it. And so up until then, if you'd, you know, asked my opinion on a Mondrian piece, I would have thought, oh, I could have done that, because it seemed so simple. It seemed like something that would have been very easily done with a ruler and, you know, just, why is this guy's art in a museum? He just made some shapes. And I later found out that he was expressing his philosophy through those shapes. He was, what I understand, a hardcore pacifist. And somebody pointed out to me that compositionally, what his work does is it eliminates conflict entirely. So he only uses primary colors, he uses right angles and thick black lines, there's no blending, there's never any arguments, I guess you could say, between the individual elements in his work. And it kind of blew my mind. I'd never thought about it that way, but he was expressing a form of pacifism through the way he assembled the elements in his work. And I thought, well, that's bananas, you know? It's interesting to have the context behind a piece, like why an artist decided to do or say something in a certain way. It's really fascinating. Silly Things of Life says, I am having some problem commenting today. Don't know why. Sorry for that. YouTube is lagging. That's unfortunate. And Maya, I did not tell Dana what you told me the last time. If you're talking about the Discord, I've been a little bit helter-skelter in my brain space. Purple Anubis says, hi Dan, lots of colors today. Yeah, this is kind of what I'm going to go with. I've slowly expanded the Joy of Pancakes palette because I realized that I quite enjoy having the flexibility while I do a piece to use so many different colors. And so I've been kind of just gently increasing like one or two colors. Like today I added an extra red, a darker red and a darker green. Just kind of going with the flow here. And let's see, Fraser, somebody said something. Fraser, you asked, what is he making? I just got on. My friend Becca Roberts over on Facebook suggested that I do something like an abstract expressionist piece. So I'm really kind of just doing something very, I'm not really sure what I'm doing. I'm kind of taking some shapes and forms and trying to build off of them. It's kind of an Art Deco thing going on here. In fact, I think I might do something a little Art Deco here on the side. That's kind of cool. Yeah, so this is not my normal fare. Often I'm illustrating specific scenes. But right now I am kind of doing something that's a little bit more of an exploration of form. And I imagine once I actually do all my line art, it will be a lot more like an exploration of color as well. Just building up these layers. Just kind of, I guess you could say I'm doodling, you know? I'm just kind of putting shapes and images where they feel appropriate. Interesting. I remember I'm not sure if they still do it, but when I was very little, there's this thing called the St. Louis Art Fair. They probably still do it. But I remember my mom used to take me to the St. Louis Art Fair. And there was a piece, she'd always end up walking away with art. A poster or a print or something like that. And I remember she bought a piece once and it hung on our wall for a while, and I couldn't really make sense of it because it was extremely cubist. It was a whole lot of things like what I'm doing here. And yeah, things like that are very, they kind of beckon you to ask why. What am I looking at? What is it trying to express? What is it trying to say? Yeah, Fraser, it's a bit like a pattern. Hey, Rahab Black over on YouTube, good to see you. Doodling, Dan, says Mind Messed on Twitch. The word you're looking for is doodling. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. So I'm not really sure. I have like this really weird idea of what it is this is going to ultimately be. Fallon Masek on Facebook asks, what do you do when you accidentally mess up on a piece? Is there a way to fix it per se, or do you just start over? It depends on how far I am into a piece. If I am like past the point, like there's a point of no return, so to speak, and it's not like for the whole pancake, like there can be a point of no return on one detail. If I mess up the eyes and I only realize I messed it up after I've colored them in, it can be very, very hard to get that batter off the griddle without disturbing any of the other work I've done. But if I'm just doing the line work, it's a lot easier to fix it as I go. So if I were to mess up a line here in this part of the process, I might be able to just turn the griddle up a little bit, set the line. That started to fill in, huh? A couple of those are starting to fill in. That's all right. I'll just draw that pattern out. I can turn the griddle on a little bit to set the line, solidify it, and then I'm actually going to turn over here. Yeah, I really like how this piece is coming together. And then once I've set the line, I can go back and erase, so to speak. Like scrape it away with the spatula if I really don't like something that I did. It's interesting how this piece is coming together because I did not really start it with any specific idea in mind, but I noticed halfway through drawing it that I had started to see the pattern of something emerging, and so I'm kind of trying to draw that pattern out with these shapes over here. interesting. I'm getting lost in it a little bit. White and black batters can do a lot because they have such striking contrast between one another. You can get away with a lot on them. And I've also found that a lot of times using white as a general highlight and highlighting almost all of my black lines just a little bit, even if I color in with another color behind them, creates a really stark effect. And it's the stylistic thing I've been doing on a lot of the Joy of Pancakes pieces that I've been doing the last few weeks. And I really like the way it ends up making things look. It's fun. It draws you in. It's very crunchy, something very satisfying for the eye to grab onto. I love this design, says Becca R on YouTube. Fraser asked, have you made an Infinity Gauntlet video? I feel like I've done an Infinity Gauntlet pancake before, but I'm not sure if I've made an actual time-lapse video of that process. I've done Thanos as a time-lapse a few times. It's a popular one. Gets requested a lot. The MCU is a very popular franchise. Fallon says, gotcha, thanks for answering. You do beautiful work. You did a pancake of my dog at Houston Boma event a few years back, and I've kept it in my freezer for years now. That's awesome. That's cool. I'm not sure if this was happening back then, but we can actually preserve those pieces now properly. So like the pieces that are on the wall behind me. So if you ever want us to maybe do a redo of that pancake, I mean, if it is still frozen, it's possible that that could be preserved, but I'm not sure if that would do well in the mail. Becca Roberts says, I love how you created distinct sections that complement each other in this design. Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of felt right, you know? It felt appropriate. It's an interesting little challenge here. There's an artist, oh gosh, what is her name? Ah, man, I can't believe I can't think of her name right now. She's this, I want to say she's from France. She's a sculptor and painter. I really wish I could remember, but she does these really elaborate glow-in-the-dark painted models that use a lot of these dots like this. I feel like I'm channeling her art style a little bit when I do this. I wish I could remember her name right now. My brain's drawing a blank. I see Gary has graced the wall, says Right Hand Black. Yeah, he's up there. He's up there. He's got a glare on him in this stream. We're going to have to get some better lighting for this wall. We got Gary, we got the B-Stars, Captain America, Gordon Ramsay, Pikachu, and then a bunch of Joy of Pancakes nonsense. Like this Just need some more lateral lines here. Silly Things of Life on YouTube asks, Dan, can you explain what you're thinking when you were doing the line work of this pancake? I mean, what is the thought behind it? That's a great question. For a lot of the lines I've been doing, it's been very much impulse-based, which is to say I'm not thinking much about it. And I think you'll find, if you look at interviews of successful artists and people who have done impressive works and that, a lot of times you'll hear this, there's sort of this trope that you'll hear artists talk about where they say that they're not, like when they do their best work, they don't feel like they're doing it. They feel like they're sort of just letting the electrical impulses of the universe pass through their body, which I guess is a really fancy way to say I'm not really thinking too much about it. There have been a couple spots where I have noticed some patterns, and like I can kind of draw it out a little bit and say that like that first line, total impulse. I just didn't question it. I was just like, I'm just going to draw that line across. And then those lines, I was like, that felt satisfying. It just felt like a satisfying set of motions, like repeating those actions, creating that form by putting line after line, creating gaps between them so that you have contrast. So it's not just a blob of lines, but very specific lines. And then as I did more and more, I was like, well, I've done a bunch of straight lines. Let's do a curved line. So I did a curved line. And then I thought, well, you know, proportion all these lines just felt right. And then at a certain point, I want to say it was right where I started to do the outlines of this spot right here. At a certain point, I started to look at it with a different lens and think, well, I've got this big empty area and I like that it's empty. And I've got all these lines here and it's starting to feel sort of like a very a very cubist abstract painting of architecture, right? Like I did the what's the word? My brain's going sideways right now. I did the Art Deco kind of pattern there that you see on a lot of like classic 1930s, 1940s architecture and stuff. And once I saw that, I thought, well, maybe I could make this part a sky, and maybe we'll put a round object here, and that's going to be a tree. And it's all very blocky and super kind of almost psychedelic in the way that it's manifesting, but I'm finding a way to sort of take these weird abstract shapes and communicate something about them that makes them seem like they aren't abstract. So that's kind of what's going through my head as I do that. Fraser Benson asks, does Dan get paid for this? Well, I get hired for live and digital pancake art events. And we have kind of been focusing on doing these streams as a way to keep people interested in what we're doing, because the pandemic has kind of put a stop to us doing events. You know, I can't really go and do birthday parties and stuff anymore because there's a lot of risks involved with it, unfortunately. And the last thing I want to do is give somebody I care about an illness because I needed money or something. You know, it's not really worth it in the grand scheme of things, especially because healthcare in my country is very expensive. So what we've been doing is we've been trying to build awareness of our pancake art preservation services, and we've had some success with that. We've been able to get a couple of people to buy and commission pieces from us, and yeah, it's, you know, we get paid right now if we sell pieces, and we get paid if people hire us for classes and if people buy our products and that sort of thing. So we're not currently being paid for doing the live stream, but we are connecting with people and making them think about us when they have birthdays and stuff like that. So if they want to, just last week I did 2 beautiful wedding portraits of a couple of folks who are getting married, and they're going to display the pancakes next to their wedding cake, which I think is really neat. I am seeing your comments, Maya. I think I'm missing some of the context from them, because I only have about 12 comments on my screen at once, and they're all from all the different platforms. So if it gets bumped off the screen, so You said something about the Gordon Ramsay pancake portrait, but I didn't read what you were talking about before that. So if you could reiterate, that would be cool. Let's see. I just set these lines so that they'll hold their form. And now I'm going to go to a couple of colors. I'm going to do some cool colors in the night. This is a very little Van Gogh going on over here. And I think the night itself, I'll do some like, how should I do this? I'll outline those purple. I think I want to do a little bit of this slightly redder, more of a fuchsia. And now I'm going to fill the rest of that in black. All the way down. Okay. I'm going to keep this black out for a second, and I'm going to do a couple of pattern lines on this tree. Just to sort of gently communicate that it is wood. Yep, that's wood. Becca R says, I'm finding that Facebook's live feature is subpar compared to YouTube's live feature. I'll probably end up just hanging out over here. You think so? Because I've been kicking around the idea of moving these to Twitch exclusively. Not YouTube specifically, because YouTube's algorithm throttles us. It's not super kind to us as far as like helping the people that already follow us on YouTube see what we're doing. So I've been kicking around the idea of focusing on one platform, even if it's not our biggest platform, and just sort of asking folks who are into the stream to start checking it out on either Twitch or YouTube or whatever it ends up being. I think Twitch appeals to me just because that is a dedicated live stream platform. That's what it's for, and that's what people use it for, and that's what people go to it to. So if we were to really start building and growing the channel, growing the stream, the Joy of Pancakes and all that stuff, excuse me, it would it could really, pay off potentially. But my apprehension also is that we have all these followers and all these different platforms, and I'm trying to make it as accessible as I can to as many people as I can. But there's certain things that we'd just be able to do better if it was focused on one platform. So that's kind of what's been going through my head with regards to running the stream lately. So if anybody has any input, if y'all would be willing to migrate to Twitch with me or something like that. Looks like I got some comments here. Becca R, it's very cool that you would switch to Twitch. You would head over there for the streams. That would be really neat. Silly Games Life says, will you stop doing it for Facebook? Or will you stop doing the stream on YouTube? Well, not necessarily. Especially not if it seems like right now it seems like our biggest audiences are YouTube and Facebook. but there's disadvantages and advantages to multi-streaming and to streaming on multiple platforms. If it's one of those things where, like, if you can't watch on Twitch, it would break my heart to change to something where the people that have been, you know, hanging out with me for weeks now and been really encouraging and supporting and stuff wouldn't be able to follow. And so that's something I would really want to avoid if there's something, and that's kind of what's stopped me so far, is this apprehension that, you know, if we change what we're doing, it might end up alienating some people who are really into what we're doing and would love to continue to follow and support. So yeah, in my head, it's just a bit of a challenge for me to try and figure out the best way to continue to grow and take this seriously. I think is something, you know, like not just phone it in and just come in and turn on the cameras, but actually invest some time and energy in making it as good as it can be in whatever way that needs to look. Because I'm not personally married to any platform. I'm married to our fans. That's that's the people that connect with us that I'm really concerned about and want to make sure that it's as accessible as it can be. I know Maya was talking about having a Dancakes Discord, and I think you can stream through Discord too. But even then, that's another thing where that's, you know, anytime you create, like, okay, you already have a Facebook, you already have a YouTube, you already have a Twitch account. And so when we go live on there, it's very, very easy for people to just kind of tune in. It's like, oh, cool, they're doing the thing. I'm going to go check them out and see what's up. Whereas, you know, if you start bringing in new things or basically you create a barrier to where you might end up getting fewer people, because it's not even that people don't want to support you or aren't that interested in what you're doing as much as it is that, you know, I got to recognize that the world we live in today is very, everything's super lightning quick, and it's very easy to get overwhelmed and overloaded with information these days. And what am I gonna do? Yeah, that's what I'll do. I want those colors to touch. Sorry, I'm kind of. There we go. It's very easy to get overwhelmed, and I don't know about y'all, but I suffer from anxiety from time to time, and it's the sort of, anxiety is the sort of thing where one extra step can be enough to make my brain bail and just put it out of my consciousness. And so I try to be sensitive to that and try to be sensitive to the fact that a lot of the people that want to support us and watch us, I want to make it as easy as possible for people to do that. Silly things of life. I will not be able to watch if you stop on YouTube and Facebook both. Well, then I won't stop on YouTube and Facebook both. One of the other things Ben and I have been talking about is just getting widgets that we can use with Restream, which is the platform we're already using, so that we can make the like overlays and make the actual screen a little bit more engaging and stuff, and more stream looking. But it's all a learning experience. And all of your feedback is important to me, so I appreciate you giving me these responses. A rainbow Pokeball from Pokemon. Yeah, it does look a little bit like that. Cool. Well, right now it looks like most of the people that are watching are on YouTube, which is not normal for these streams. Normally it's folks on Facebook is usually our biggest platform, but this is interesting. I appreciate y'all watching. Trying to bust out the blues, I think. Blues and greens. I think I'm just going to go ahead and fill that whole thing in blue. I don't like how that's goofing the pattern there. This is one of the stranger ones I've made so far. Okay, I think I filled it all the way in. Okay. I think this is going to be really cool. Maya, you're worried about me? How come? All right. I'm very, very excited about this piece. I think this was a very cool suggestion. Becca Roberts says, the professors in my counseling program often ask me what my self-care routine is, and I tell them I paint pottery and watch the Joy of Pancakes Dancakes streams. That makes me feel really special. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, I am still in mild caffeine withdrawal, but I'm honestly feeling really good today. Low key, but I think low key is fine as long as I'm meeting my obligations, such as running this stream. I'm really happy with my color selection today. I think this is going to be a really good piece. It felt really good to make. Honestly, I'm probably just going to do another one like this right after, because that was super cathartic. That just felt good. Just to sort of do some lines. There's a study, not like a scientific study, but like a training exercise, an artist training exercise that Dana showed me once, where you just scribble a shape, and then you have to go back and turn the shape into a character, a cartoon character. You just... I realized just how flexible human creativity and human pattern recognition is when it comes to stuff like this, because you can really push the limits of what things are actually supposed to look like, so to speak. And come up with some really, really, like, that I feel like there's a key to beauty somewhere in there, right? Because, you know, I mean, it used to be that if you wanted to have a picture of yourself a long time ago, you would need somebody that was really, 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 really good at painting reality, at painting from life. But now we have cameras. Now everybody has a camera in their phone, and they're walking around with cameras in their pocket, and it's like, now, I think there's a lot, I think part of the reason that modern art has gotten so abstract and weird is because there's a lot to be said about, like, okay, well, if we don't need art to perfectly replicate images, as cool and as beautiful as that can be, like, what kind of things can we find out about the human spirit and that kind of stuff from dabbling in shapes? And what can this teach us about what consciousness is? Oh, this paper towel is coming unrolled. What are the paper towels even doing in here? They don't normally belong in here. I'm gonna move those. Let me see here. Hopefully the stream is still working. It looks like it might be lagging behind over on my side. But at any rate, I'm gonna make sure that I can cut to the overhead here in just a second. All right. Oh, that's gonna be too hot. I hope I didn't mess the coloring up. It's starting to cook pretty dark. Uh-oh. I might have cooked this too high. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Weird. Weird, but I like it. Very cool. Yeah, I cooked it a little bit hotter than I would have wanted. So the whites got a little singed, and all the colors got a little singed as a result. But I still think that's nice. I still think that looks good. That's a cool, weird little design, huh? I guess in my head it was like, that's a house, right? And maybe there's something in front of the house, or some kind of facade, and a roof, a wall, and maybe it's an apartment building or something, and then you have the park and stuff in the background. Y'all are having trouble on the YouTube stream, it sounds like. And from where I'm at, my little restream client is definitely lagging. I'm glad y'all can see what I made. Not really sure what's going on though, as far as our internet. Kind of frustrating. There's not a lot I can do on this end, I don't think. Not right now anyway, not with my dearth of psychological information. Alright, I got some plates over here. Alright. Archie on YouTube, you said epiphania? Is that when you recognize things in shapes from clouds? Or, you know, bathroom tiles, shower curtains. Yeah, that cooked a little bit darker than I wanted. That's okay. We say mistakes are delicious for a reason. I'll go ahead and set that down. I'm just going to go ahead and dive right back in and do another one kind of similar to that. I appreciate that, Silly Things of Life. It's very sweet of you. I'm glad y'all liked that piece. We're going to try another one. I'm going to do something a little odd this time. Normally I do round-ish designs. Most of my designs are rounded because of, you know, I mean, pancakes are generally round, so I like that, but let's do something square, right? At least as square as I can make it. It's not going to be a perfect square. This will be a small piece. Tiny. Fit that into a tiny little frame. think I'm kind of going in a playing off the differences of curved and angled shapes. You ever seen the crystal bismuth? It's a metallic crystal that forms and it creates these really intricate, beautiful, like, caverns of right angles and points. It's a very strange mineral. I think that's one of the really beautiful things about nature in general, is that, you know, I think we might not necessarily associate these angled forms with nature because, you know, I think human society, cities, roads, electronics, all these sorts of things tend to have these very ordered, angled forms, but and we always see humanity in contrast to nature. I think especially a lot of Western thought pits humankind and nature against one another like it's some ancient Platonic struggle, that our entire experience of reality has just been us versus the natural world, trying to conquer it, trying to protect ourselves from it, master it. And there's sort of this Platonic sense of squares and right angles and stacks and order that kind of stuff evokes. Things I might often associate with masculine forms. The thing is, nature is filled with those forms as well. And actually, I mean, I kind of misspoke right there because human beings are a part of nature. I always think about that back when we still traveled a lot for events, when we still flew a lot, especially when I would fly into a big city like New York, or I once went to Brazil and I flew into Sao Paulo, Brazil, and flew out of it. Sao Paulo was massive, just this gigantic, like the definition of a concrete jungle. And if you think about it in terms of like, oh hey, what's up?
Nothing much.
I was on a flow there. If you think about it in terms of like microorganisms, bacterium, and that sort of thing, I always see cities as these they're like ant colonies, you know, like they're not unnatural forms. We get it, we kind of get it into our heads that we are somehow at odds with things that we can't possibly be at odds with. You know, all of our actions are an outgrowth of nature. And I guess that's kind of what these shapes and designs kind of make me think about, because of the sort of, there's like this conflict between curves and angles. Like, curves represent the feminine and angles represent the masculine, and curves represent chaos and mystery and organic matter, and angles represent steel plants and design and, you know, tables and chairs and stuff like that. Ultimately, it's all the same mess, right? Silly Things of Life. I'm gonna catch up on these comments real quick. Silly Things of Life suggests that I make a pancake using white line work after this. I think that's a great idea. Let's see. Frazier, I appreciate you dropping into the stream. I hope that I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for your comments. Bobby in the shop. Yes, we are using a lav. We use lavs in our studio right now. I've thought about maybe getting a mount or ceiling or something like that to have more of a like a proper streamer or, you know, ASMR mic since I talk so quiet. But yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep building this, keep layering this. Kind of makes me think about tree rings. And isn't that one of the things that you learn as a kid? Like one of the first things you learn that's really cool, that, oh, you can count the age of a tree by counting the rings only if you cut it down. There's something poetic about that. Just that sort of repeating over and over and over again pattern. That's something nature really loves to do, is repeat things. Maybe that's why I like to repeat myself. YouTube seems to be lagging really bad today, in my opinion. I'm really sorry to hear that, guys. I wish that there was something I could do about that. One moment, I'm going to see if anybody out in the studio can help. Are we doing anything else on the internet? Because I'm getting some folks in the chat that are talking about it lagging really bad on YouTube.
No.
Okay.
Doing anything currently? Maybe Dana?
You doing anything on that's taking up bandwidth, Dana? Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Feed frozen?
It might be. Well, that's OBS. That's not.
Yeah, but remember when OBS was like...
That's really frustrating. What can we do about it? Just reboot it?
Yes.
Okay, well, 1 second before you do that.
Is it frozen on hold?
I don't know. I know they were saying that Facebook was having issues and YouTube was having issues. We might just reboot the stream. We're gonna reboot the stream and we're gonna reboot the internet.
Oh, there you go. Back there.
Is it working? I think we might be having connection problems here at our studio. I'm just gonna keep drawing until I'm done with this, and then if it's still goofing up, then we'll see. Cool.
Yeah, it's working now. Looks like.
Okay.
It's gonna hook up in charter or something.
Right on. Will you close that?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay. So I'm just gonna keep focusing on this piece. It's one of the frustrating things about live streaming. I don't necessarily have control over whether or not the internet gods will smile upon you on this day. Appreciate y'all being patient. Might be affecting our stream numbers, which is unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? Maya asks, does Hank make pancakes on the streams, or just you and Ben and Dana? Hank very, 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 very occasionally makes pancakes on the streams. He is, he's mostly our logistics guy. So most of what he does when he's logistics, and he's also like, he's a construction guy. So Actually, he's a big part of the reason we have this studio, because he built most of it himself. A lot of times people will ask me, you know, like, oh, do you have advice for artists and stuff, and starting, you know, business stuff? And like, I always tell folks that it's all about the people you surround yourself with. It's all about your people skills, because there's so many things that our business, Dancakes, does that I don't think I ever would have figured out on my own, or done on my own, or had the wherewithal to put together on my own. I certainly wouldn't have built a studio. I wouldn't have gotten the cameras that we got for the streaming. I wouldn't have, there's so many things that I would have probably not been able to do as well as we've been able to do them if I didn't have amazing people helping me out. Ben, fantastically talented, taught himself how to design websites so that he could design our website. Dana's fantastically talented, the fucking guru on social media. Oh, I almost swore right there. Whoops. To watch that. She also taught herself digital art from the time she moved to St. Louis to now. And so now she does all these fancy color palettes, and she's working on a project with me for my board game Anthromancer. She's doing some storybook illustrations for one of the major pieces of that. Yeah, I hope you talk to Hank sometime too, Maya. I think you probably will if you keep helping us out and getting into proper stream moderation and all that stuff. Alright. Let me not squander my opportunity here. gonna be beautiful. I forgot my glove. You grab it? I did. I want to say hi to the Pancakes. Oops, throwing a microphone. Let's see who I'm actually. Oh, Becca said hi though, so apparently I'm seen. How does it feel to be seen?
Hello, everybody. What would it sound like if I put the microphone in my mouth?
I don't know, probably not great.
Oh. Hello, everybody. Someone said that YouTube is still lagging.
That's frustrating.
Darn it. Sorry, y'all. They say they like my shirt, though. It's got kitties on it. I don't know if you could tell. Well, let's just do it.
Do what?
Put it in my mouth.
Oh, okay.
I trust their judgment.
Yeah, I trust their judgment, too.
I just did a little bit. Everyone's saying hi to me. Hey, guys. Hey, everybody. Please, if you guys could repeat if the YouTube stuff is lagging, like, or is everyone seeing those issues? Because I also have, everyone's telling me to do it. I can hear it. Wait, I want to hear it for real, though. Oh, it gets so loud. I'm so sorry. It got so much loud. Hey, everybody. Facebook is bad right now for me.
That's frustrating that it's YouTube and Facebook. So we might, after I flip this pancake, we might just want to reboot it.
Okay. Well, it says to do a hum. Hum. You can't hum with your mouth open, and that's just singing. Well, I said, bless you, Dana. I didn't sneeze. What is this? Is this the City Museum?
I mean, essentially.
Sorry about the lag, everybody. If you didn't hear us say a second ago, which you probably did, but we're gonna reboot it in a second. So please stick around after the us leaving for a second. In the meantime, I'm gonna show them that I have cats on my shirt. This is not your live stream anymore, Pancake Boy.
I just work here.
Life has many doors, Pancake Boy. Kitties. I bought this shirt in, I think, London, and it shows. I wish I had a studio audience right now. That like applause in the back.
Hey, it's Pearl.
Hey, Pearl, what's up?
Was dance class fantastic?
Aw.
I hope so.
Is it Maja? M-A-J-A? Maya. Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Oh, Maya M says, Dana, I love that I've come across Dan and you all in the Dancakes team. Well, thank you.
Maya's been helping out, talking about being a moderator.
Nice. Like Biden.
Oh, God. Don't bring that into this.
I'm sorry. I was just making a pun. Sorry, everybody. I meant no harm.
Alright.
Like moderate.
Pancake over. I'm so exhausted.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
Alright. You ready? Hopefully this one will not singe quite as much. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, wow. Oh, I'm on it. Dan, that's gorgeous.
It is a simple little square.
One moment, y'all. Beautiful! Maya says, "Oh, Dana, I will say something. Your Gordon Ramsay pancake is amazing. Thank you." That's amazing, Dan.
Oh, sure.
I love that. I love the, like... how did you... There's a weird thing you did that I love, where the middle of those circles is a different color than the background, and they almost look like they have gradients on them.
Sneaky, huh?
It is sneaky. Sneaky lad.
Thanks, Bobby, in the shop. Thanks, Noodle Princess. Appreciate y'all.
You're not on the overhead. 1 second. Keep holding it.
What a nice square.
What a nice square.
Thanks, Bella. Thanks, Haley. A quilt of pancakes or tile pancakes, says Lizzie Arellano. That'd be neat. That would be neat. Something cool about a square pancake, says the Noodle Princess. Alright. I think I'm probably going to make one more.
What about the lagging situation? You want me to check on my laptop how it looks?
Oh, yeah.
Let me check.
So.
1 moment, y'all.
Bobby in the shop says, "Great job, Dana, for shouting in the mic."
For wetting the mic?
For shouting in the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll be back. I put the mic in my mouth.
What a weird gig. Well, I'm gonna have to do one more, and I don't want to reboot the stream. I mean, there's always a possibility that if we reboot it, we'll have more viewers, but I also don't want to lose any of the people that are watching currently.
So for the record, I'm not seeing any lagging on YouTube. I have it pulled up on my laptop.
Well,
it's flowing perfectly fine.
I'll go ahead and finish this one out. Then, if somebody wants to, if y'all want to give me some suggestions, some prompts in the chat, give me some direction, and maybe I'll take this weird abstract style I've got and apply some abstract terms to it.
For what in the mic? Huh?
Yeah, because see, I have the mic down here and I'm talking low key, but you're like, and so they were laughing about, and that's what she's responding to. Oh my god, I just cracked up because you ran back into the room. So, for what in the mic?
Oh wait, this is my earbud.
Yeah, that's your earbud.
Okay, there.
Abstract. Let's see. Flow says Wella. Inverse says Purple Anubis.
Someone earlier said that you should use white outlines to shake things up, and I think that's a beautiful idea.
Said that. White outlines.
Yeah.
That's a great suggestion. Robot, Aztec, Design, Day of the Dead, Mythology, Vines, Universe, Surrealist. Wow, Becca, you really did. You've been saving them up, huh? Ocean Waves, Grounded. I like a lot of these. I'm just gonna hold them in my brain for a minute and start, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
I feel like a reporter. I've never held the mic like this. It's a beautiful day out here in St. Louis, and we've got local Pancake Man and Tarot Wizard drawing a big ol' circle.
It's not that big.
I'm the news reporter.
Sounds like fake news to me.
Wella said, "Thank you for looking at us, Dana. I feel acknowledged." You're welcome.
Yeah.
We all wish Dan would look at us, and yet he is on high.
I'm not high.
Not in a while.
Alright, I gotta draw these waves.
Not since...
I gotta draw these clouds, birds, sky, grounded, flow.
Why are the dogs in here?
Dogs
Alright, dog ASMR time.
I'm like, what the hell is happening to my stream? Why are there dogs in here?
Don't worry, they sniffed the mic. They probably heard.
This is the only news channel I would watch, says Pearl, and Maya says, "Dana, you're so beautiful."
Thank you.
I have an idea for what I'm gonna do. kind of go in the direction of will-o'-the-wisps. Anybody familiar with those? From what I understand, will-o'-the-wisps are a phenomenon wherein swamp gas can catch fire and explode. But because people didn't understand what was going on, in places where there are lots of bogs, like Ireland, you would get these folklore, mythological explanations that would rise up and talk about how they were the souls of the dead, or spirits that took people and took them under the, because you can get sucked into a bog and drown that way. I think it's really interesting the way that folklore springs up when people have no deeper understanding of what's going on, and they come up with reasons for why something happens that contextualize it as some sort of a supernatural or a spiritual phenomenon. I think that stuff's super interesting. Just to think about, like, to try and put yourself in the shoes of somebody experiencing that without having access to the research and the tools and the technology we have, and no way to really know what it was. And so you come up with a reason like, oh yeah, that's the dead. That was my grandmother. She's mad at me because I accidentally fed chocolate to my dog or something. I don't know.
Wow. Bobby in the shop said it should be Dana's live stream with Dan in the background making pancakes. I have bad news for you. It already is.
Bad news? For you. Because every time I do something, you're like, this is the quiet library. Shh. Is that how I am?
A little.
Is that how you feel?
You have librarian in your Instagram bio.
Can I help you?
I have that I'm trying my best in my Instagram bio.
Wow. Impressive.
It's not. If anything, it's making an excuse for my own incompetence.
Your unincompetence?
No, my incompetence. If I had unincompetence, I would have things done. Instead, I just go to therapy and eat hot chip and
Do you
lie.
tell the truth to your therapist at least?
Mm-hmm. We're in a post-truth era, Dan. There is no ethical consumption under late-stage capitalism.
I appreciate you reminding me of that.
You're welcome. I hear my voice from the other room, so I'm going to close the door because no one wants that. Maya says, Dana, just a little introduction of myself. I am 28 and I'm from Poland, from overseas, and it's a really big pleasure to meet you. Hi, Maya. What's up? One of my best friends lives in Germany, and her mom's family is from Poland, and I've only heard good things. Also, her grandma kept trying to talk to me in Polish, and I didn't understand Polish, and she didn't know English, and yet we communicated, so that was a cool experience. You ever have that?
Mm-hmm.
I had exchange students when I was in high school, and that was awesome, because it's a really cool lesson, and like, yeah, language is cool and helpful, and it lets you read books and listen to YouTubers, but at the end of the day, we can all make do with just basic human body language and,
Empathy.
Empathy.
I mean, shoot, I can communicate with my pets.
No, you can't. What does fib mean when he's yelling?
Generally, feed me.
That was a quiz, and you passed.
But yeah, people forget that communication is much more emotional than it is logical.
Just a reminder, something that I saw on social media and then had it affirmed for me this morning that I think is being, taking place in this live stream is never forget, despite everything going on right now, despite all of the crazy existential nonsense going on in our country, or our country, Dan and mine, and also the world, and all that nonsense, never forget the importance of human connection. Because we tend to forget, We spend all day on our phones and on Facebook and stuff, and then all it takes is a nice conversation with a nice old couple that lives down the street from you to remember, oh yeah, all of us people just want to hang out and eat garlic bread and go to bed.
And hot chip.
No, not all of them. That's just women. Sorry, I'm referencing a really silly meme. What all women want to do is eat hot chip and lie. Confirmed. But, yeah, I had an experience this morning where I went to a little farmer's market. And with the pandemic, you forget what it's like to talk to strangers because you do it a lot less. And it was really nice. So, hope y'all are feeling good in the live stream today. You're not alone. We love you here at Dancakes. And, excuse me, I mean that because...
part of the reason I love doing this stream.
Oh yeah, me too. I love these streams. If I seem silly or whatever...
How dare you?
It's because I was working on something else, but then I knew Dan was live streaming, so I ran in here. And then ate the mic. And here we are. Human connection. Becca said, going to therapy and eating hot chips. Yep, that's my life right there. Yeah. Honestly, I don't like hot chips. I'm here to eat hot chips and go to therapy, and I'm all out of hot chips.
You'd think I'd be into hot chips, what with being a woman in a cave and all. But I'm not a big hot chip girl.
Yeah. Totally get it, man. They're spicy.
And heavy.
All Dan wants to do is quote Worthy Kids and lie.
Yeah.
You guys haven't seen the animator Worthy Kids? Worth, like WORTHI, and then Kids. He made the Big Top Burger series, and he animates other stuff, and if you watched his videos, then you'll understand half of our inside jokes at Pancakes.
Yeah, because since we've discovered Worthy Kids, it's most of what
so funny.
Most of what we quote is Worthy Kids stuff.
It's so quotable. It's that beautiful, surreal humor that just punches you right in the side of the head, even though nothing funny was even really said. Like, it's just the tone of it, Like, it's a great series, or all of his series are great series. Bobby in the shop said, I'm new to the Dancakes stream, Dan and Dana. Can you tell me about what you guys do? I can take this one if you want to focus.
Yeah, go.
So what we do is a little bit of a complex question, because before the pandemic, we were an events company. Our main source of income and our main thing that we did was going out to wherever the heck, that's a college in Miami wants us to perform on their campus. And so we show up with our 100 pounds of equipment each in big flight cases, and we fly there and we get a hotel, and then we perform at the college, which means setting up like a table about this wide and having 1 or 2 griddles depending on how many artists they wanted, and then having a first come first serve basis where people line up and they say, hey, can you make my face please? I'll stand here and smile so you can take my picture and then do my portrait. Or whatever. It could be their dog, it could be a minion, it could be SpongeBob, it doesn't matter.
Usually it's a minion.
Usually it's a minion. But usually, though, it was portraits. We don't do as many portraits now because we do some of them in the request live stream, but the majority of what we did was portraits. Pet portraits, people just wanting to get their face made, which, it's like a one-time thing. You can look up a video of Minion Pancakes on YouTube. You can't watch someone make your face in real time. And Dan's going a little slower right now because he's doing long-form content, and that's all cool. But what we did before was this kind of breakneck pace where we'd try to make decently simple and yet accurate pancakes in about 5 minutes. And so we'd kind of get through the line that way. And so that was our events. And then when the pandemic hit, our life of full-time travel came to an abrupt stop for the first time since Dancakes started back in 2013. So, excuse me. From this point, we have pivoted successfully, question mark, because, like, we're doing okay still, but, like, we're not sure if we're going to be here in 6 months, because we're an events company that got, you know, an out of nowhere bat to the kneecaps. So we're dragging ourselves along, doing preserved pancakes, commissions, live streams, private live streams, private classes.
Forbidden eggs.
Forbidden eggs. There's another thing I thought of, but I'm not going to say it. This is a children's stream.
I am going to set myself on fire.
Do you know?
I think so.
Okay. So now we just kind of, like, since this is a pandemic and we can't go anywhere, our artists go to home and then they come here. Like, this has become our office. The studio before, like, this big room where we film in, there's also, like, an office space, like a full-on office space where probably up to, like, 8 people could work. Maybe, like, 6. But, like, it's a nice building. And we had it after we partnered up with select brands to patent and sell the Dancakes griddle, which you see Dan using. They wanted us to have a workspace, so we're lucky to have that, and we come in here every day, and I do social media content, which is why you might see me, like, filming and kind of getting up in everyone's business, because I try to, like, take videos of stuff happening around here. Dan makes a lot of content, commissions, you know, people who commission us on the side for their portrait or whatever, preserved pancakes. Hank, we have a workshop area. Hank,
builds and preserves the pancakes.
Oh, that stuff you see behind Dan, yeah. And Ben does a lot of the website stuff, and he's also an artist, but Dan's sort of taken the helm as content creating guy, or pancake creating guy. I do social media stuff, and Ben does website content. So yeah, long answer. Hope that wasn't too boring, but it's a lot. So yeah, we're still figuring out what we do right now.
Now, what do we do on the Joy of Pancake streams, Dana?
What you're doing right now, duh.
Yeah, but what am I doing right now?
Dan is doing long-form content. Which, if you've seen any Dancakes anywhere other than this stream, you'll know that we do time-lapse videos, which is this shot you see on the screen right now, but it's sped up to, like, you know, 5,000%, like 500 times as fast. And so it's a minute-long video of Dan making a pancake that in real time took him about an hour or whatever.
We're not actually recording these for that, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry. So I meant, like, those are the videos we make, and this is sort of like doing that, but just for a live streamed audience, because people like it, and people tune in, and people hang out. But yeah, on top of this, we also do a Sunday request stream where we take donations a lot more actively, because if you donate, you can have whatever you want made event style. So yeah, Bobby in the shop, that's what we do. They say, thanks for making me feel welcome. You're very welcome. Silly Things of Life says, we don't have hot Cheetos here, and going to therapy is very, very unusual. Huh.
Is it a cultural thing? I mean, it's honestly, it's pretty... There's still a stigma.
Yeah, it's pretty...
Here.
I don't know if it's unusual here, but I'm the only person I know other than, like, my girlfriend who we met through therapy. Besides her and I don't know anyone who's just like, yep, I'm going to therapy. Like, there's usually this kind of stigma about it, which I could not care less, like, at this point, because I know it's about as silly as feeling shame for going to the doctor for a checkup or, you know, the dentist or something. I see no reason to think anything. I mean, it's changed my life, absolutely. As much as, you know, going to the doctor when you have a chronic illness.
It's also prohibitively expensive for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah, that's awful. I'm very fortunate that I'm able to afford it to some degree. I will say that one of the cool things is, even though it's still, you know, not the cheapest thing in the world, is there's a lot of therapists out there that you can work out a sliding scale. Like, I've had therapists who are like, can you pay X? And I'm like, not reliably. And they're like, okay, can you pay 3/4 of X? And I'm like, yeah. And yeah, they make it work. Still, not something everyone can afford, which is really too bad. Silly says, even talking about mental health is taboo here. Gross. I hate that for the world. People are afraid of mental health for some reason.
Well, it's because there's this idea that if you need somebody's help to get your brain under control, then that's evidence of something, some weakness, something deeply wrong with you. And you know how that goes. Like, people push it into their subconscious.
Yeah.
Like, I can't face that. That's too painful. That's too frightening.
Well, that's why I'm, like, really big on, you know, there's been a lot of talk with everything going on in the States here, at least, about, like, the importance of, like, putting resources into stuff like school counseling. You know, just as one of many examples in the school counseling is how I started to, like, get out of being extremely, like, terribly depressed in high school, because, like, no one else was like, oh, Dana, you should go to therapy. But then one day I went to my counselor and just, like, broke down, and she's like, here's a card, it's for a therapist, call her. And I was, like, the only person who, like, directed me towards someone like that, even though other people knew. And it's just terrible that not everybody gets that, you know? But the nice thing is despite a lot of people ignoring it, it's a universal experience. Not that everyone experiences it, but tons do. So you're not alone. And if you need anybody, I, at the very least, am here for you. It's, silly. It's very unnatural, in my opinion, to just be like, hey, that thing that makes us human, that, like, is extremely affecting my experience as a person and is totally natural, I'm not even gonna talk about it.
Gotta pretend that's not real.
Gotta pretend like that doesn't exist. Am I right, fellas?
And all the fellas are like, yeah. And you're like, wait.
Screw mental health stigma. Me and all my homies hate stigma around mental health.
Friendship ended with mental health stigma. Mental health acceptance is my new best friend.
I didn't know you knew about. Oh, you're an internet historian, boy, so you know that.
Yeah, of course.
Highly recommend, especially if you're on YouTube, Internet Historian, the channel. So good.
He does sound a bit like Elon Musk.
Yeah, you like that?
And so heavy.
Sorry guys, I'm falling behind a little bit on the comments. Silly things of life, that's cool that it's becoming a lighter topic. I think the internet's been a big push, in my opinion, for that, where everyone's just like, hey, we're all, like, depressed to some extent. Not everybody, but you know what I mean? Like, there's a bunch of people talking about it, and so everyone's just like, oh, hey, not alone. Cool, let's, like, not make this weird. Excuse me. Maya asks, what are your favorite colors, Dan and Dana? I'm really big on, like, somewhere between the color of my shirt and this bottle, which I will show as soon as we're on the wide shot. There we go. Somewhere between these. I really like these colors. Like this, like, pale aquamarine. What about you, Dan?
I'm very partial to purples and violets. I like those a lot.
Yeah. All your fancy cool clothes are violet. Or have violet in them.
Otherwise, I tend to use a lot of monochromatic blacks and grays. Pseudo-goth.
Yeah, silly, that's a bummer. About, you know.
It's amazing what just knowing about depression or anxiety can do.
Yeah.
There was a very specific conversation with my grandma. She passed away last year, so I hold this conversation close to my heart. But she had me over for dinner once, and we were just talking about life. And I was talking about some of the things I was going through. And she just kind of casually remarked, like, Dan, have you ever thought that maybe you have anxiety? And I was like, what? There's a word for what I'm experiencing?
Yeah.
I can put that in my brain and contextualize it and start to reason out using that as a shorthand for what it is that I'm experiencing. Bah!
People want to put you in this weird thing where they're like, oh, don't call it anything. Just be positive. Just be happy. Stop it. But, like, there is such power to naming something.
Mhm.
Like, people want to say, like, stop labeling things, which is so silly because it's like, imagine if your leg really hurt and just no one told you that it was broken. They were just like, hey, stop. Your leg doesn't, just stop. Just
believe in yourself.
walk.
Just believe in
It's
yourself.
like, no, what if I, like evaluated the way it broke and then got a professional who could use professional terms and techniques and methods to fix it, and people don't want to call it things. So you're right, having names for things like behaviors and thought patterns. That's why I love therapy so much, is because they take your like matted up ball of yarn and they can just like weave it into like a ball of yarn. Like, they can organize it. They can just be like, oh, see, you've got all the parts here. It's just all scrambled up. You just need to do this. And you're like, whoa.
The chat is wholesome, Jane Pearl. And thank you, Maya. I appreciate you saying that.
Mm-hmm.
I miss her.
Hope this isn't too heavy for anybody.
Seems like people are vibing with it.
Yeah. Y'all are loved. I don't see any reason to shy away from it, you know? I don't think this is a negative conversation we're having. If anything, it's constructive.
Just authentic.
It's just like...
Real-ish, dog.
I remember I didn't know that I was depressed until 6 months in, and then someone told me I had depression, and I was like, I thought depression meant sad. Like, it's as if someone said, you have sad, and then you were like, wait, I thought sad was just a normal adjective, and they were like, no, it's like a disorder. You were like, oh. I mean, technically it is. Seasonal affective disorder is a thing, but it blew my mind. Yeah. I get the sad sometimes, so I have a full spectrum light. Wow!
There we go. 3, 2, 1.
Lovely.
It's all white outlines. Spooky.
Spooky.
Is swamp.
I like the feeling of, like, bright light exposure it has. Rahab_Black says, I'm just taking all of this in. This isn't like usual streams. It has depth and I'm here for it. Oh, that's sweet.
Cool feeling.
Yeah, I mean,
what I'm going for.
Yeah, we do a lot of streams, and like, if there's one thing about the Dancakes team, like if I could assign one word besides idiots to the Dancakes team, it would be like authentic. And I don't say that to like humble brag. I don't say that to be whatever. I say that as like just a literal descriptor. Is like, we just kind of talk about what we think is important to us, and there's no weird stigma behind it, which is refreshing. Get you a group of people who just lets you exist as you are without assigning arbitrary rhyme or reason to what you're saying. You know?
Neat. What time is it, Dana?
I don't know. What do I look like? A watch.
Yes, it's 3:45. Okay. Well, I still have to do those commissions.
Oh, this is it. Closing time.
It's just about. I think. I don't know. I don't really want to stop just yet because I really like the vibes going on in the chat. Maybe I'll do one more. I'll do one more piece.
What are you gonna make?
I don't know. Folks in here ought to give me some suggestions, some recommendations. What do y'all want to see? What kind of direction should I take this impulse?
Make a minion.
End me.
End game.
Haven't seen it.
Thanos.
Thanos.
I had a dream once that he kept entering the room I was in, and so I'd just turn around and he'd just be standing over me, stone-faced, and I'd just be like, how did you get in here?
Maya Dana does have an Instagram. It's at @NoSketchbookNeeded. Lizzie Arellano on Facebook suggests leaves.
Leaves. It is very leavey out.
Hulk abstractly drawn.
That Maya recommended that earlier.
Yeah, you recommended that earlier.
Hulk jumping in a pile of leaves, listening to Joe Rogan's podcast.
You want to do this one, Dana?
No. I got a pee and I have work to get back to. I'm just. I mean, are you okay?
Probably not gonna do that.
I was just riffing.
Just riffing over there.
Oh, they're riffing over there. Worthy kids reference. Huh.
I can barely hear me on my mic, huh?
Yeah? How's your battery, Dan?
Pretty low. Give me some batteries.
Sure. Sure. But quiet. Thanks. Crazy how nature do that. These are hard to get in. Oh, I did it.
Okay. Can y'all hear me? Is that working out? I'm also talking quieter than Dana, and I don't have the mic next to my mouth.
You should try putting it in your mouth. The crowd will go crazy. Oh, Maya just followed me on Instagram. Heck yeah. Follow for some crazy and random comics. Drawings of Guy Fieri occasionally.
Scroll back up because I missed some of those suggestions. I like leaves. Leaves felt
Leaves is cool.
simple I could go with.
What do you think of leaves in fall? Like, what do you think of? I think of death.
I think of getting out of school for the season.
I hate to break this to you, but you and I did not get a further education, so...
Talking about high school, nerd.
Yes. Rahab_Black asked for my handle again. My handle on Instagram is no sketchbook needed. It was a username back when I didn't have time to draw because I was in high school, so I just drew in my notebook, and that was like the thing, was like, oh man, I don't have a sketchbook, I just draw on my notes. But then I graduated, now I do this. And I guess I still don't really need one. You know, I work on a griddle, I guess. Wella said, wait, did we address how we can't hear Dan? Dan, can you give them a test?
Hi, hello.
Hi, hello.
I don't know. I don't know if y'all can hear me or not. Can you put the headphones on, Dana?
Sure. Give me a beat.
Drop the beat, Sci-Fi. Hi, my name is Dan, and I'm making pancake art with my friends. I'm here crafting designs.
Test, test. How do I sound? Dan, say something at my volume.
Dan, say something at my volume.
Yeah, guys, I have that Dan's audio is fine. I mean, when you whisper, it definitely is a little like when you're like, hey guys, I'm Dan. It's a little harder to hear. We can both project a little more if you want. Dana, can you say, oh man, you're gonna make my dumb American self try to pronounce words in another language. I'm gonna sound really ignorant. I don't know Polish. But it says...
Yeah, I think, because I wasn't having any microphone problems until you started holding the mic to your mouth. I think it's the volume differential is making it so people need to...
Oh.
I don't know.
Am I too loud? It might be the music, too, is something to consider. I'll be quieter.
No, it's just don't hold it right in front of your mouth. It's a lab. It's supposed to go down here.
But Maya, I'll try. It says Kocham Polskie. Oh yeah, it says we can hear Dan. He's just quieter in comparison. I will give up my news reporter role. I switched from my phone to my laptop, so I think I just had my volume lower here. My bad. Oh, no worries. We appreciate any feedback. I've used the body. So I might go do that. Oh, good question. Pearl said, guys, can I just ask, how do we feel about Among Us? So I have heard nothing but stuff about Among Us for like a week.
Yeah.
And I'm so curious. Is it like Jackbox Games style, like...
Mm-mm.
No? What is
No,
it?
it's one game.
Right.
And
I know
it
that.
is essentially it's every game is a group of people go into a spaceship, and it randomly assigns one person to be an imposter, sort of like an alien that like kills people.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the art is really simplistic but super cute. And the object of the game is for the imposter to try and stop everybody from being able to successfully complete their spaceship tasks. And so there's this sort of asymmetrical knowledge where nobody knows who the imposter is, and the imposter looks just like everybody else and has to try and move around in a way that everybody else moves around and try to catch people when nobody else can see them and kill them then. And then there's like this reporting mechanic and all that. It's just a really fun game where the object of the game is to deceive everybody or to figure out who's deceiving you. And every time a body is discovered or somebody calls an emergency meeting, it goes into this chat room thing where everybody discusses what they saw, where they saw it, and who's accusing who of doing what.
That's fun.
It's extremely fun, and it's Hannah's been playing it a little bit, and I've looked over her shoulder and watched her, and it's
With strangers or with friends?
with strangers.
That's cool.
Just hopping on there, and there's a really active community on there right now because it's having a lot of success.
That's cool. Also, when I said Jackbox style games, I didn't mean it was more than one game. I just meant like it was like a play with your friends online type thing, you know?
Well, yeah, you certainly can play with your friends if you want to. Like you can find your friends and invite them to a private lobby and stuff. But and I imagine it's probably a bit of a different experience then because you know your friends' personalities a bit more.
That sounds fun. Maybe we could play it at the Dancakes party.
Maybe.
Dancakes, we're all gonna, the main 4 people in Dancakes.
We all have to have
me,
laptops
Good.
separate from each other.
We all have those. Hell, we have 3 computers here. But we're having a pizza party video game fun time because we're all friends. But we don't hang out enough.
When we do, it's
work.
always work.
Well, that's what I mean. We technically we hang out all the time, but we're always at work saying hi to each other. Maya said we can play as the Dancakes community. Please name your characters Ben, Dan, Dana, Hank. You need more players. There's Jenny, Lee, Ryan, Angelique, Jimmy.
Jimmy's the imposter.
Always. Oh, I guess Silly Things of Life is leaving. I'm sorry you're not feeling great. They say their health is not okay. See you soon. Thank you so much for dropping in. Have a lovely night.
I hope that you feel better.
Appreciate you. I'm gonna go pee.
You promise?
No. Life's an open door. I don't know what's gonna happen when I get
Many
in there.
doors.
Okay.
Big boy.
Huh? Okay. I'm gonna go. Oh. Thanks, Pearl.
What did Pearl say?
I'll take it. Pearl says, I call dibs on the username Dana's #1 simp. Hell yeah. Wow, I don't know if I've ever
It's
had
nice
a
to have
simp
one.
before. I mean, Gina's kind of a simp.
Gina's your...
Yeah, but she's thirsty. Alright, I'm gonna go pee.
Proud of you.
I'll call you when I get there.
This design is coming along nicely. I took leaves and just ran with it. And I'm literally just drawing a bunch of leaves. Took it very literally. Autumn is my favorite season. Maya says, I'm calling you out to play Among Us with the viewers. It's definitely open to that. Sounds like fun. Pearl says, Dan, how are you doing today? I'm doing okay. I am... oh, come on. I'm gonna look up an image of a leaf so I can get some color reference here. I think I'm still experiencing a little bit of various caffeine fatigue, just because I haven't been drinking coffee. And I feel like the last 4 streams I've been talking about that. I imagine it takes more than just a few days to get over it when you've been drinking as often as I have. And there's definitely like a very subtle sort of personality shift that goes along with that, where my focus hasn't been very good. I bet that's part of the reason that I really love doing these streams, because I don't need to have that much. It's very easy for me to focus on this stuff. It's a very straightforward sort of task that I'm very good at doing. So, but in general, I've been okay. You know, as okay as one can be, given, you know, I do pay too much attention to the news and like worrying things going on in the United States that, you know, just being mindful and not to let it get to me. You back, Dana?
No.
You're gonna keep hanging out?
I think so.
Cool.
Oh, I'm in the camera.
Read some of those comments so I can know what's going on.
There's not... Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, I just hit the table with my body. Someone said, shall we have Among Us rounds against the Dancakes team for fun? Who's with me?
Yeah, it's Maya.
Maya, keep an eye on us on social media. More, like, mostly TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, because if we play Among Us, y'all will know. Keep an eye on that, like, Friday night. What?
I was just laughing, thinking about, like, Ben being the imposter.
Why?
I'm like, well, because when you're the imposter, you have to deceive people with your words. You have to, like...
I'm good at that.
I don't know.
I'm a terrible liar.
I kind of feel like you'd be better at it than you think.
Probably. I have a lifetime of experience.
Just because, well, I mean, to be a very good liar, you have to have a lot of empathy, right? You have to be able to think about how somebody else is going to hear something.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting experience.
Maya says it's 11 p.m. That makes sense. It's late time over there. Did you see the thing that says it's okay, Dan? Sometimes things dip for a bit and then get better. You've got this. Dancakes community got you.
Is that from Pearl?
Yes.
Yeah. I appreciate that, Pearl.
Dips do happen. I was dipping hard this past week, and then things are picking up now, and I think it's because I got used to Ritalin. Now I'm just, oh, I should probably take my other pill before it gets too late in the night. Pearl said, being the imposter sucks. I develop bonds with people and then don't want to kill them and just end up losing every time.
Yeah, that sounds like a problem that makes sense.
So I've got some more work to do. I feel like this turned into a break I didn't know I was going to have, which was lovely. But I want to go keep illustrating and also put up a TikTok. So, also a video on YouTube. So I'm going to go put a video on YouTube for anyone who wants to check that out. It's the Zootopia one that's behind Dan. I'm just kidding, it's not Zootopia, it's Beastars. I shouldn't say that because then people might get excited for Zootopia. But Beastars, I'm gonna put that up. I've got duties to do, so I'm gonna go. Pearl sent us a love beam. Said Dan and Dana, pew 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 pew.
Thanks, Pearl. I really appreciate you.
Felt that one. So, I'm sleepy. I love you guys. I think you're great. Thank you for watching. This one's going to be really pretty. Can you actually call me in when you're about to flip that?
Sure.
That'd make for a great TikTok video.
Sure.
Cool. I'm going to take a little bit right now and then come back in. Thank you. Cool beans. Okay. Everyone's saying bye. Bye, everybody. Kevin, the griddle is off or almost off. I'll be back in a bit, actually, so. Do you mind if I leave the door open? I think some of them here anymore.
That's fine. I think once I've done the detail on a collection of these leaves, I can kind of get a little bit more loosey-goosey with the coloring. I think it'll still communicate, right? I think so. We'll see. Very richly colored. Yeah, Kevin Zetna on Facebook. I turned the griddle on just now. You'll often see me turn the griddle on a little bit while I work, and then I'll turn it right back off. I'm just getting a little bit of heat in the griddle to set my line work, which makes it so that, you know, subsequent layers don't bleed into one another quite so much, because I've cooked the lines just a little bit, just enough to make them solid. But for the most part, the griddle is going to stay off during the entire drawing process. And that gives me all the time in the world to work on my design until I feel like it's going to be worth filling in and flipping, you know? Okay. I'll message you after the stream, Maya, of course. Yeah. God is really flexing on us with the entire Dancakes team. Appreciate you saying so, Pearl. We're doing our best. We're trying to provide our light to the world, and, you know, make things a little bit nicer. At least in the part of the bit, at least the parts that we can control. You know. This is going to be my last pancake. So, if you would like to see more pancake art done live, I would invite you to tune in on Friday at 2 p.m. Central Daylight Time, which is my time zone. We do the Joy of Pancake streams 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 2 p.m. Central Daylight Time, and we would love for you to join us. I know we've got a lot of repeat viewers, and that makes me really happy. Right now, we've basically got mostly repeat viewers right now. I'm hoping that over time we will find a way to keep growing the stream and make it more engaging and get more people talking about it. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, let people know that it's going on. I think when I start up the next stream, I'll probably be a little bit more forthcoming about asking you to do that in advance so we can get more people watching from the get-go. But yeah, Facebook, Instagram, well, it's not on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, there, are the main platforms that we stream through, and yeah, I don't know, we'll see what the future brings, because I think we've got something special here. It's just a matter of continuing to work at it and draw it out and make it something that more and more people really look forward to. You ready to flip this, Dana? You ready?
Yeesh. Can you give me, like, kind of a dramatic flip?
Okay. I will give you kind of a dramatic flip.
I'm sorry, hold on. Cameras. Alright, there you go.
You ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Wow! Beautiful.
I think that's pretty.
That's gorgeous. That is so fall.
It's a very abstract, sort of designy stream. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate the feedback. Becca Roberts, Purple Anubis. Beautiful.
Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah. I like this one a lot. It's simple. It's charming. Yeah. Nice little pile of leaves. Pile of leaves for breakfast. Hold that here for the cycle here. Let me unplug this griddle and get these pancakes under the overhead camera for the roundup shot. And I'll say my goodbyes, and we'll wrap the stream up. All right. Okay. Here we go. These were the pancakes that I made on today's episode of The Joy of Pancakes. Move these around a little bit so we can get all of them in the frame. Yeah, there we go. Some simple abstract designs for you. If you guys keep watching, eventually you're going to see the ones on the wall behind me. You're going to see those. All of them are for sale eventually. The ones that are on the wall behind me right now are for sale on the website right now, I believe. So if anybody's interested in owning a preserved, framed, resined piece of pancake art, you can grab one of those. It would be really cool to know that these were sitting on the walls of some people out there, some of our viewers, some of our fans. Yeah, I feel really blessed that we get to do this. And thanks for watching The Joy of Pancakes. I will be streaming again 2 p.m. Central Daylight Time on Friday, and then the next one after that is going to be Sunday for our weekly request live stream. So if there's a specific design that you want us to make, Dana, Ben, or I will be on the Sunday live stream making specific requests. You can actually send in family photos and that sort of thing. So super huge thank you to everybody that's a repeat watcher, that's been hanging out, that's been spending time with me and all that stuff. I always love seeing y'all in chat. You're all incredibly kind, and it's cool that we get to share this. So thank you. And yeah, till next time, remember, as usual, mistakes are delicious.